Welcome to the Football Show on PLZ Soccer, sponsored by Arnold Clark. I'm Peter Martin, absolutely delighted to have you on the programme, and our guests in the studio tonight. Alan Ruff is joined by Hugh MacDonald of the Daily Mail. Lots to talk about European football tonight. Rangers in action against Maribor, Hibs against Molde. We'll discuss both those games coming up very shortly. We'll also look back at the game last night at Celtic Park, a disappointing 1-1 draw in the end for Celtic, Ruffy.
Yeah, it certainly was. We discussed it yesterday. We were thinking maybe and hoping maybe a 2-0 lead. But the biggest thing, more than anything, was not conceding. And unfortunately, that happened just before half-time. So, yeah, in the whole, I think the result is a worrying one for everybody. I mean, I think Brendan can talk it up all he likes, but the way that they're giving goals away to better quality teams, it's a bit of a worry for the second leg.
Yep. Here's what the manager made of it all.
Apart from that one error that we made just before half-time, if we're sat here at 1-0, then I'll be talking about a fantastic performance. I'm still very proud of how we played. I thought we started the game so well in every element, our shape, offensively when we had the ball, and obviously our defending, our pressing was at a real high level, and we were really in good control of the game. And probably Athens are waiting to get to half-time to regroup. But obviously we conceded, what was it, in the 44th minute or something. But the game didn't change so much second half. Well, I think whether we 10 men or 11 men, they set off in a deep block. And I suppose the only little bit of frustration was that they couldn't quite make the final pass count in that final third of the pitch. But I think overall, we're still in a really good position. It was only going to be a difficult game for us over there anyway. But certainly after tonight and seeing how we played in the performance, then it gives us great hope to go out there and get a result.
Well, I watched that game. I was there at Celtic Park last night, Hugh. They started off well, good pace about them, good energy, and then slowly but surely lost their way close to half-time again. Lustig with, lazy defending, and then not concentrating in the middle. Ayer and Henry, suddenly you have a situation where they've got a free chance to have a shot at goal, nobody near him, and he just dispatches it in 1-1. Yeah,
and a terrible price to pay, because the difference between 1-0 and 1 each is frankly huge, especially when you're going against a team that is very conservative in terms of coming forward. Going to Athens 1-0 up, saying that AEK would have to score 2 to win. You're thinking it's 2 to win in normal time. You think that's not too bad. Now you're facing a team who don't have to score to go through.
Yeah,
it's really. I think it's a gigantic task now.
Well, here's what manager Brendan Rodgers makes of what lies ahead in the second leg.
I think we'll have enough of the ball, and I think that we've got the players of quality that can score. Of course, we're going to have to defend well as well. But yeah, it was always going to be a difficult game for us, whether we're 1-0 up or, like you say, at 1 each. But always felt we'd probably have to go there and score anyway. So, but no, it's still very much in the balance. Of course, it swings a bit to them because they're at home, but we certainly know we have the quality to go and perform well after seeing that this evening.
So, Ruffy, he still remains confident. He always thought Celtic were going to have to score a goal over there anyway.
Yeah, I think you've got to be confident. You've got to be positive. You've got to feed that through to the players and the fans. Yeah, and there is always a chance when you go away, but it's not an easy chance, because obviously Anya's out. Leaves Simonovic, who he didn't want to play last night, so he could be thrown in. Boyata hasn't played, obviously, with the World Cup. So we're back again at the same centre-halves that have been causing all the problems, through the league and the European games. So that's the only worry. I mean, we've already discussed middle to go in front. Celtic are good. Celtic can compete with at least teams at this level with them in the team. But again, it'll be a torrid 90 minutes because you'll be sitting there, if you're a Celtic fan, and you'll be waiting in every attack that comes through. somebody doing something slack like happened last night.
Well, Brendan Rodgers, speaking earlier today, was previewing the Hearts Celtic game coming up on Sunday, and was asked the question, does the board's ambition match yours? To which the cold reply came back, I'm not going to discuss that, it's private.
Well, in my own humble opinion, that should have been his answer earlier in the week. As a pressman, I am glad he didn't, because he created a great story, and he's fermented, he's added the stock for this weekend. I think there'll be some columns this weekend reflecting on it. I thought what he did at the beginning of the week was ill-advised. I didn't see the upside in what he was saying. I mean, we know that he's unhappy about people not coming in, and he's saying he's identifying them and not going over the line. But what was the purpose in it? Who was it going to serve? Was it going to help the team before the game, telling them that they were weaker than they were last season, that they were stagnating? Was it going to help his relations with the board? Was he going to fire up the fans? I don't know. I thought it was self-serving.
But the 21st century, Hugh, managers are out for themselves. They want to better themselves, and they certainly don't want to be derailed. My argument with this is quite simply, I don't think any Celtic fan should mump or moan about this, and here's my take on it. Quite simply, you know the blueprint. The blueprint is it's a game of roll the dice all the way through the qualifiers before any significant money will be spent. You can't criticise the chief executive because it's a plan that works. Financially, they're the healthiest club in Scotland, and they've bought into this blueprint. So mumping and moaning about it won't do any good. That's the nature of it. But the part after that is quite simply managers buy into it first of all, realise what they've got into, and then the third stage of this is, by the way, I'm a wee bit scunnered with this.
It's like the 7 stages of grief, isn't it? There's a whole process they go through. Everyone goes through. I mean, I remember in the heady days of Brendan Rodgers coming in earlier on, he says, I want to build a team here. And you got yourself, Brendan, I don't know what planet you're living on, but teams are not built now. It's sad to say, because as soon as you get the components in place, somebody's saying, I want Boyata, I want Dembele, I want Tierney. People come and cherry pick your best players. Now, there might be some resistance to that. You might get, like this season, there's an opportunity. Do you know what? They might not sell a player this season. But if you can remember, if you think of Celtic in the last 5 years about talking about building a team, imagine if Celtic still had Ki Young-song, had still had Van Dijk, Denayer, Wanyama, Joe Ledley even doing a job in midfield, still McGeady at 31 still coming into. Imagine they'd all those players that they sold. With the ones that they've got now, with the Tierneys.
I think the problem he's got is he's never stood in the way of anybody leaving, like Armstrong, and he's never put up a case. So now all of a sudden he's wanted one guy, McGinn, and he's probably said to himself,
yeah, well, but with all due respect, Rafi, I don't buy into the McGinn one. I mean, the McGinn one was a situation where he was coming in. Some Celtic fans were saying, "Is he going to play?" That's the first thing. But secondary to that, I never looked at the McGinn signing as the real deal breaker that's going to determine success or failure in Europe. Hugh.
No, but the point I'm trying to make is that he hasn't put up any resistance to people leaving, and then all of a sudden, the one guy he possibly wants, they don't come up with the goods for him, and that's probably what's upsetting him.
I don't know. My view is that, again, you say there's some Celtic fans thinking he wouldn't get in the first 11. Count me in as a journalist who doesn't think he gets in the first. I don't know how you drop to get McGinn into a Celtic first 11. But that's by the by. More importantly, and perhaps more relevantly, I don't think John McGinn thought he was going into the Celtic first 11.
Well, he spoke to Brendan Rodgers, he spoke to Steve Bruce, and Steve Bruce has clearly sold him a better pitch on this one, and he's decided to go to Villa. What I would say to you, just before we now move on to Rangers, is quite simply that they've got Izagiri coming back, possibly a deal for Arzani. I still think they're missing key elements here, Hugh. I think they're missing, some people are raising their eyebrows at Izagiri, but I think they're missing 2 defenders, a central defender, certainly somebody to replace Lustig and quickly. I would sell Boyata without even taking one breath on it. And then I still don't think they have a number 10. And the evidence of that was clear last night. If they don't get an early goal, and Celtic, to their credit, did get one, sometimes they run out of ideas. And that's where a number 10 comes in. And I'll say to you now, the number 10 is not Tom Rogic.
I think Rogic is a number 10, but I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying. You're looking at a Lubo or somebody of that ilk.
To get Brendan Rodgers where he wants to be, it's got to be somebody like that. They don't grow on trees. It costs money.
Exactly, they cost a lot of money. And the other thing is, to sort of end the Celtic discussion is, not only might they be out with Celtic's buying power, but players like that now can choose. We know, for example, that they had a right back identified. They had it over the line with the club, and the right back at the last minute decided to go to Valencia. And that's the world in which Celtic are operating at the moment.
Yeah. OK, let's switch our attention from Champions League qualifiers last night to Europa League. Rangers against Maribor. Now, this is an interesting one because going into this game, it's all off the back of, all those players we were talking about last time around are suddenly being dispatched to all corners of the earth. We're going to discuss that in a moment. But, of course, Rangers fans will be heading to Ibrox in great numbers, looking forward to a game against what will be a very difficult opponent. This match for me is similar to the one in Glasgow last night, Hugh. I think this is a tough one to call. There'll be no mugs, as they've proved on previous occasions.
And similar to the match last night in Glasgow, I think that this is possibly a difficult tie, more difficult tie than any subsequent fourth round one, funnily enough. I think this is huge. And it's also a tie, again, like the one in Glasgow last night, against a team that defensively is very strong. That would be their strongest suit. In favour for Rangers is that they've tended to be defensively well this season. I think they're on a decent momentum. They hit a bit of a bump with that late goal at Pittodrie. But I think looking at the performance at Pittodrie, you'll be looking at it and saying that's far superior than anything we've seen from Rangers in recent years. There was a cohesion, there was a strategy, there was a drive, there was a will. The problems remain, and it doesn't need Steven Gerrard to point them out. I thought the goal they lost was a very poor goal, and they need a bit more cohesion and danger and threat up front.
Yeah, well, here's what the Rangers manager had to say about the pressure of getting a result against Maribor.
I think there was a bit more pressure on the first game when we drew Scoopy, because I think we had a bit of a mental block with certain individuals in the squad. Probably still carrying the hangover from last year, but I think what helped us was we had a lot of new players who were fresh, and obviously wasn't involved last year when the team were knocked out. So I think them players helped a lot, and I think we got big confidence from progressing against Scoopy and also against Lozicek. So the team are in a good place. We're feeling confident. We're growing all the time, and I think these games coming thick and fast are a reward for how well we've started as a squad.
I'll be blunt with you, Ruffy. If Rangers get to the group stages of the Europa League, I think Steven Gerrard deserves a huge pat in the back, if only for the fact that you've got a team that is gelling under a new manager. I mean, I don't even see a style yet. That's taking time. That's going to take time.
No, I think that's the target. I think the target is to get there and give him more time. The target obviously will be in the league to obviously hit the ground running. I thought they were going to do that at the weekend until get players sent off. But no, I think for Rangers it's all about finance as well. It's all getting to that group stage and taking the home games and getting some more money in the bank. But for me, they haven't really proved yet at the European level to turn they've not turned anybody over yet. Everyone's been a 1-0 or a 1 each or whatever, and so until we actually get a team on the park that can go out and win 2-0 and make it a lot easier for them, I'm sure he'll be a wee bit anxious to get that second goal tonight.
Yeah, well, if anything, ahead of the English transfer window closing, he was fighting off bids for James Tavernier. That was the first thing from West Brom. I think he just wants Tavernier to be part of what he's doing there. And he'll also offer him, I think, an option in midfield when Flanagan switches to right back. Windass, Wigan, take in a bit of money for him, which you'll be happy to do. Declan John's off to Swansea. Yep. So suddenly, all those players that a lot of people were writing a lot of guff about, he shipped them all out.
Yeah, he's made whatever. I mean, his early steps in management have been really decisive ones. He's cleared the decks there. He's come to decisions very, very early. Greg Docherty's another one. So Shrewsbury, he identified the problems very quickly, namely central defence. Got rid of Alves and Cardozo, which is going to cost Rangers money, but he's identified that, brought in Katic and Goldson, looking to bring in another centre-half. So he's really worked quickly on identifying what he wants to do. I don't know if Windass is a huge part of his plan. Scored 18 goals last year, which is always useful, but maybe Gerrard sees other options there.
It wasn't good enough, Hugh.
No, that would be my view. I think, and if they could get money for him, fine. Tavernier's an interesting one because he could get money, but you would think, all the mouth music coming out of Ibrox is that Gerrard obviously fancies him, not least by making him captain.
Yeah, I like him.
I like him, but not as a right fullback.
No, not going back the way. I like him going forward because I think he puts in a really dangerous ball.
I agree. I think the Flanagan's the key to that. If they find a way to play with a three with Flanagan at right back and move Tavernier forward, I think that's a good setup.
Well, remember, he looks at, I would suggest he'll have a 3 in mind or a 4. Flanagan, Barisic, who's just bought, and then the two centre halves, and then all of a sudden, whatever he wants to do, it's a 4-1-4-1, whatever, he can switch it whatever way he wants. I still think he's short. I think I think if you speak to many a Rangers fan, they would probably look and say, need something better than Morelos.
Absolutely, or even need something in addition to Morelos. I think Morelos, I'm of the view that Morelos, because of his obvious faults, is over-criticised. I think people come out and criticise him too much. I thought he was bang out of order. Whether it's a red card or a yellow card, what he did against Aberdeen was daft. Gave the referee and his assistant a decision, put his team in jeopardy. He is too careless with the odd chances, but I don't think he's as bad a player as he's painted to be. I think he's a decent developing option there, but they really need somebody that they can hang their hat on up front, and they really need somebody as well who gives them that out ball. See, when things are going to be under pressure, they can knock it long and it sticks.
Yeah.
I don't think even Siddiqui, the Roma loanee, I don't think he's that either. And funnily enough, I don't think if they get Lafferty's that either.
No. Let me ask you this then, guys. Give us your prediction.
Tonight, I think Rangers win narrowly.
Yeah, I think they'll win 1-0.
Okay, from Rangers at Ibrox to Easter Road, Hibs against Malda. This one is Neil Lennon against a player that you'll know well, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Well, we certainly hope Hibs can make it through. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer still looks as if he's got the baby-faced assassin look about him, Hugh.
Yeah, and very much touted as a coming manager at one time. Remember, he came to England, there was Cardiff, and he was looked upon as they were making him. He was going to be the next big thing in management. Plenty of time for him to do that.
Yeah.
So he's obviously got a good managerial reputation. Molde are always a dangerous team at this level. The great thing about Hibs, if you were talking about Hibs, is you just know it's going to be absolutely pulsating stuff there tonight. Hibs are a team that score and can concede. They're a team that excites at all time. Neil Lennon puts his sides out on the front foot. It's remarkable, I think, that they keep. I think obviously people say they'll miss McGinn. Of course they'll miss McGinn, but Hibs have lost McGinn, McGough, and Scott Allen, of course, who was a starter there last year as well. So those three central midfield players have been stripped from them, and yet they continue to do well.
Yeah, I mean, they brought in Emerson Heinemann. Rangers fans know all about him. He's in a 6-month loan deal, but not the same type of player as John McGinn.
No, I don't think so. But obviously, with John leaving so quick, he had to get somebody in, and he obviously knows him for his time at Rangers. He's obviously seen something they liked, something that he can play in their midfield as well. But no, I think this is just getting by this round. I think the only encouraging thing for me was the scores there against Glenavon, which wasn't really impressive. So if you're looking at that, we know they've got quality on their side, but Hibs really, again, they just really need to win the game at home.
Yeah, I'm just looking at this Hibs side. It's changing. I spoke to a Hibs fan earlier today, and he said to me that that quote that came from Neil Lennon saying John McGinn was one of the best players of Hibs the last 30 years, and I thought, is he up there as one of the best? It's an interesting one, isn't it? It's great debate. He says yes, he deserves his place.
It's a great pub debate question, isn't
fantastic.
it? I think what happens in football, just generally, and it happened to me when I was young, and it happened to everybody, the nearer you are to people and younger you are, reputations can become, there is a danger of becoming inflated. No, I hasten to add in the case of McGinn, but when it's in the middle of it, it's looked on more rosy. I'm thinking about when people a few years ago voted a great Manchester United team. They voted Cantona as the best Manchester United player of all time, and you had to pick me up off the floor from laughing. I say he would have to fight for his place to get in the Manchester United team all the time. I mean, if you're playing him at striker, you're going to drop Dennis Law. If you're playing them just behind the striker, you're going to drop Charlton. If you're going to play him in the wing, you're going to drop George Best, etc., etc. I think we focus on too much, but the great thing that McGinn's got in his favour, he's got a few great things. He gave everything for Hibs. He left in a dignified and good manner.
Yeah.
He played with commitment and heart and pride in the green jersey, and crucially, played in a Scottish Cup winning team.
Yeah, that's exactly it. He's part of the legendary status. Yeah. Okay, give me your prediction.
Goals and hopefully Hibs to win by 1.
Yeah, hopefully maybe 3-1, no 3-2.
Yeah.
3-1.
Okay, is it curtains if it's 3-2?
Well, I think it'll be more difficult.
Yeah. And for the benefit of any regulars to this show, you'll remember Ruffy's classic line, if Scotland were to lose by 3, Gordon Strachan should go. 24 hours later, oof, what about the turnaround from him? We'll find out tomorrow on the programme and see if Hibs can indeed, fingers crossed, get a good result against Molde. As Hugh mentioned, there's going to be goals on that. Join us on tomorrow night's programme. We'll be discussing the length of grass at Tynecastle and whether it's long enough for Hearts and whether it's obviously the right length for Celtic as well. Ahead of that game we're looking forward to at the weekend at Tynecastle. We'll discuss all the games in the Premiership and look over the full Scottish card. Thanks to Hugh and Ruffy, and from myself, Peter Martin, thanks for watching.